Hello, dear readers. How are you all? I hope you are well. I am also well, but if you like our video and subscribe to our channel, The Hidden Untold History of America, then I will be even better. Today, I will tell you about CIA's MKULTRA, Cold War mind control, LSD, and the real Manchurian Candidate story, Season 1. And previously on our channel, there are many more beautiful stories like the story George Washington's Secret Weapon, the farmers and housewives who saved the revolution, Culper Spy Ring. Those who have not heard it yet, please listen to it quickly. The link is given in the description box. Without further ado, let's get back to the story. Let's go! Season 1, The Acid Test. Approximately 150,000 words, 1 hour video equivalent minimum. The flickering fluorescence of a hidden laboratory is often the stage for humanity's darkest impulses. The year is 1953. The shadow of the Iron Curtain stretches across the globe, and in Washington, D.C., the Central Intelligence Agency, the newly forged shield of American exceptionalism, is gripped by a profound existential terror, the communist mind. The enemy, it was whispered in the echoing halls of Langley, had mastered a new form of warfare, a psychological alchemy that could erase identity, force confessions, and turn loyal soldiers into programmed assassins. Reports from the Korean War detailing American POWs signing false confessions fueled the paranoia. The Soviets and the Chinese, they believed, had the holy grail of mental subjugation. The CIA had to find a countermeasure. They had to learn how to break the mind before the enemy could break theirs. Thus, Project MKUltra was born. It was given the cryptic Ultra designation, a nod to its ultra-sensitive nature, and its predecessor, the Nazi-derived program known as Operation Paperclip, which had imported some of Hitler's most sinister minds, scientists who had practiced their dark arts in concentration camps, onto American soil. These were the men Allen Dulles, the formidable director of Central Intelligence, entrusted with the task. The architect of this psychological labyrinth was Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, a brilliant, eccentric chemist with a messianic conviction. Gottlieb, known as the Black Sorcerer, was not interested in defense. He sought the total control of the human psyche. His objective was nothing less than to find a way to get control of an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will, and even against fundamental laws of nature such as self-preservation. He wanted the perfect Manchurian Candidate. The initial budget for MKUltra was a staggering 6% of the CIA's total operating fund, cleverly laundered through an elaborate network of cutouts, unsuspecting universities, hospitals, research foundations, and even psychiatric institutions across the U.S. and Canada. The projects numbered nearly 150, all cloaked in secrecy, all dedicated to one thing: behavioral modification. The primary tool? LSD 25. In 1953, Gottlieb cornered the world supply of lysergic acid diethylamide, purchasing it from the Swiss pharmaceutical company Sandoz. It was a potent, unknown variable, and Gottlieb began his chaotic, uncontrolled human experiments, convinced it was the key to unlocking the human mind. Enter the players. Dr. Leo Bryson, a young, idealistic psychiatrist from a prestigious Boston university, recruited under the guise of Cold War neurosis research. He is brilliant but morally naive, initially believing he is helping the U.S. military develop better interrogation methods. He becomes Gottlieb's reluctant protege, slowly realizing the horror he is part of. Anna the Phantom Vance, a tough, cynical narcotics agent operating out of the clandestine CIA safe houses in New York, known internally as Operation Midnight Climax. Her job is to run a network of safe houses, or covert brothels, where unwitting subjects, petty criminals, drug addicts, and men picked up off the street, are dosed with LSD, their subsequent hours of psychological agony filmed through two-way mirrors. Anna is a moral gray area, a woman trying to justify monstrous acts for what she believes is the greater good. Her eventual discovery of a deeper plot within the program will be the catalyst for the season's main conflict.
Victor Vic Stark, a decorated Army bacteriologist, a friend of a high-ranking CIA official, who becomes one of the very first unwitting victims of the program. Dosed during a routine work retreat, his sudden, agonizing descent into paranoia and psychosis forces Dr. Bryson to confront the human cost of the operation firsthand. Vic's story is the emotional heart of the program's initial horror, the story of a good man systematically destroyed by his own government.
Chapter 1. The Invitation and the Echoes of War. Season 1. The Cold War was not a conflict of borders, but of the soul. Dr. Leo Bryson had always believed in the purity of science, the noble pursuit of knowledge. His recruitment by a smooth-talking, well-funded Defense Department liaison was a dream come true. His mission, to study stress in isolation at a highly secure facility outside Montreal, Canada, the notorious Allen Memorial Institute. He was told his work would safeguard the mental fortitude of U.S. agents captured abroad. The budget was unlimited, the secrecy absolute. Bryson's initial experiments were on volunteers, patients already institutionalized, diagnosed with everything from mild anxiety to depression. He began with sensory deprivation, soundproof rooms, pitch-black environments. Then came the de-patterning, up to 60 days of continuous sleep therapy, induced by massive, debilitating doses of barbiturates, interrupted only for extreme electroshock treatments, often 30 to 40 times the standard therapeutic dose. While the patients were essentially comatose, Bryson was told to play repeated, looped messages, psychic driving. The messages were simple affirmations, designed to reprogram their very personalities, erasing the old self to implant a new, stronger one. In New York, Agent Anna Vance watched the film reels from Midnight Climax. The footage was disturbing. Unsuspecting men, high-ranking military officers, businessmen, all writhing in terror, screaming at hallucinations, revealing their deepest secrets, all for the sake of observing the disintegrative potential of LSD. Anna felt the rot deep in her soul. She saw the men as collateral, a necessary sacrifice to understand the communists' deadly game. But the latest batch of tapes, a subject simply labeled Project 57F, showed something different. The subject, a talented jazz musician, didn't just break, he became pliable. His trauma, carefully recorded, was now a blueprint. He was ready for the next phase. When Vic Stark, the Army bacteriologist, was accidentally dosed by LSD by a CIA colleague during a high-level retreat, a bizarre, uncontrolled internal test known as acid for the sake of acid, his subsequent fall from a 10th-story window was ruled a suicide. But Bryson, who had met Stark just weeks before, was given the task of reviewing the confidential reports. The details didn't match. Vic hadn't been suicidal. He had been convinced he was being hunted. The report contained a cryptic code, Subproject 83. Dr. Bryson, disturbed by the accidental death and the brutality of the de-patterning at Montreal, began to secretly archive his own records, realizing the stress research was a facade. He found a connection between the drugs used in Montreal and the lethal compound in Stark's system. He was moving from an unwitting collaborator to a quiet, frightened witness. His search for the truth of Subproject 83 leads him to a coded map of facilities, revealing the true nationwide scope of the operation. A dark web stretching from Montreal to New York to San Francisco, all reporting to the Black Sorcerer, Dr. Gottlieb, and his cryptic Office of Technical Service. He had just begun to pull the thread. The web was vast, and its center was a core of pure, terrifying power. Chapter 2. The Architecture of Erasure. Dr. Leo Bryson's secret investigation confirms his worst fears. Subproject 83 was the agency's term for termination of will, the successful, calculated destruction of Vic Stark's identity after his accidental dosing revealed the drug's potential. Gottlieb hadn't covered up a suicide, he had sanctioned an erasure. Stark was a casualty, an experiment whose failure was simply documented, not mourned. Bryson manages to secure a complete log of the MKULTRA umbrella, a ledger of 149 sub-projects coded and distributed across the US and Canada. He realizes his work in Montreal, Sub-Project 68, Depatterning, is the pre-treatment phase, designed to turn a mind into a tabula rasa, a blank slate, ready for the next stage. Meanwhile, in New York, Anna Vance is running her own rogue investigation. The subject, Project 57F, the jazz musician, is scheduled for transfer to a secure facility in the Midwest. Anna has watched him shatter, then rebuild, under the influence of LSD and targeted post-hypnotic suggestion, PHS. She knows 57F is now a living weapon. The transfer order confirms her greatest suspicion. Gottlieb is ready to deploy his first successful Manchurian Candidate.
Chapter 3. The Sleeper Protocol. Bryson and Vance initiate a clandestine exchange through a network of prearranged dead drop locations, a series of park benches and library lockers. They are two small cogs in a massive machine, now working together in the shadows, trying to derail the program. They discover that Project 57F has been programmed with a trigger, a seemingly innocuous cue designed to bypass his conscious mind and activate his lethal programming. The trigger is an image tied to the psychic driving tapes, the red queen from a deck of playing cards. Their plan is a desperate gamble. Bryson will use his access to the Montreal Institute to forge medical documents declaring 57F mentally unfit for transfer, a temporary stall. Vance will intercept 57F during the transfer using a powerful counter-hypnotic phrase she learned from the program's own research files, hoping to disable the trigger. The exchange fails violently. Bryson's forged papers are discovered. He's placed under immediate surveillance by the agency. As Vance moves to intercept the transport convoy, she is ambushed. In the chaos, 57F's handlers panic and accidentally expose him to the red queen on a playing card dropped by a panicked guard. The musician snaps. He becomes cold, hyper-efficient, and brutally violent. He kills his escorts, but not Vance. He recognizes her voice from the hidden tapes. She was the one who often whispered the post-hypnotic messages into his ear during the psychic driving sessions. He perceives her as an authority figure. Vance, in a moment of sheer terror and quick thinking, uses his programmed obedience. She doesn't disable the trigger, she co-opts the asset. Vance, whispering the command from the files, "The assignment is incomplete. You are not free. Return to a state of focus level 12. All targets are secondary until the sorcerer's hand is removed." 57F returns to a deeply suggestible trance state. Focus level 12 was the code for a deep trance protocol found in the stolen files. Vance has saved herself, but she has corrupted the asset instead of freeing him. She now has a highly trained, deeply traumatized, programmed killer under her temporary command. Bryson, now on the run, watches the carnage from a distance, understanding the terrifying nature of the weapon they have unleashed. Season 1 finale, The Double Bind. Bryson and Vance meet in a pre-planned safe haven, a deserted hunting cabin in upstate New York. 57F sits quietly, completely detached, a ticking time bomb between them. Bryson has the ledger, the full coded document detailing every sub-project, every university, every doctor, every illegal experiment. This is his proof, his lever against the agency. Vance has the weapon, 57F, a living, breathing piece of evidence that could expose the program, but also a killer she is morally bound to control. Dr. Gottlieb, now aware of the leak and the asset's disappearance, initiates the Scorched Earth Protocol, a pre-planned contingency to destroy all remaining files. He uses the chaos of a national security scare, a false flag operation related to Soviet infiltration, to cover his tracks. The final scene. Bryson is meticulously coding the ledger onto microfiche, preparing to leak the information to Senator Ted Kennedy's office. Vance is watching 57F. A flash of light erupts outside. A CIA cleanup team, led by a ruthless black ops operative, surrounds the cabin. Bryson panics, unable to finish the leak. Vance looks at 57F, then at Bryson, and makes her choice. The ultimate moral compromise to save the evidence. She quietly gives the programmed killer a new target that will buy them time but cost a life. Vance, voice low, the trained handler. Focus level 12. Protocol: eliminate hostile interference. Do not let the proof leave this room. Do not let the architect be captured. 57F moves with impossible speed and lethality. Bryson grabs the partially finished microfiche, seeing Vance's betrayal and necessary sacrifice in her eyes. As the cabin erupts in gunfire and screams, Bryson barely escapes with the partial ledger. Vance is captured. 57F's status is unknown.
So friends, season 1 is over here. We will see you in season 2. We will be different, in short, and you can still cancel and subscribe to The Failed Script. The hook for season 2. The partial ledger, now in Bryson's hands, is not enough to dismantle the program. The agency, believing they have contained the leak, begins to rebuild. Dr. Gottlieb uses Vance's capture and 57F's escape as proof that his mind control techniques work. Season 2 will begin with Bryson, now a wanted fugitive, trying to decipher the partial ledger's codes, while a captured Vance is forced to train a new generation of assassins. The ultimate twist is that the agency allows Bryson to escape because they want him to chase the truth. The chase itself is another layer of the MKUltra experiment. Can a moral man be broken by the burden of impossible knowledge? Hey friends! Season 1 of CIA's MKUltra, Cold War Mind Control, LSD, and the Real Manchurian Candidate story is over, and we have already given many more beautiful stories, like George Washington's secret weapon, the farmers and housewives who saved the revolution, Culper spy ring, on our channel. Those who haven't heard it yet, please listen to it quickly. The link is given in the description box. And if you want the next season of this story, then quickly complete 1,500 subscribers on our channel, The Hidden Untold History of America, and 2,000 likes on this video. Thank you very much for taking your valuable time to listen to the story. But don't forget to like and comment.